Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. In today's episode, we have news here that an armed suspect has been arrested near Justice Brett Kavanaugh's home and has been identified. This has been breaking news since this morning, but there have been new developments that have taken place this evening, which I want to make sure I cover here on the Bald Brad Show. Now, as always, if you're not a subscriber of the show and you haven't hit that like button, what are you doing? Make sure you hit that now. It does help support us and allow us to grow here on the show. This one comes from Fox News, and they say here, the armed California man arrested near Maryland home of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh Wednesday morning has been identified as, and I'm not even going to bother saying this scumbag's name, but this comes from law enforcement sources. Now, if you had to take a guess, folks, let's do a little poll here. Let me know down in the comments below. So don't fast forward through this or anything. Do you think this person is a leftist, or do you think this person is a conservative or Republican? Now, there is a hint in here, and I don't think you're all stupid. I think you're all going to get it right, but let me know in the comments below. The hint is California. Okay. And if that doesn't give it away, in the next paragraph, they're from Simi Valley, California. And I'll give you another hint. Simi Valley is very similar like Seattle and Portland. Okay. Maybe like Chicago, maybe like Los Angeles. We'll throw New York in the mix as well. I think you could probably guess. If you haven't said it already down in the comments below, they're a leftist probably. Okay. The other one was the fact that they're going after Brett Kavanaugh. And there's kind of a little bit of backstory with the whole idea of Roe v. Wade judgment or ruling is going to be coming out on this whole thing, which is why they probably wanted to go and commit this heinous crime. We'll get into the details right now. This person was carrying a gun, knife, and pepper spray when arrested and had made violent threats against Kavanaugh, sources said. This person was picked up at a nearby street after calling 911 to report himself. So at least this person had the wherewithal to report themselves before they committed this crime. A criminal complaint obtained by Fox News shows that this person is being charged with attempting to murder a United States Supreme Court justice. He is scheduled to have his first appearance in federal court in Maryland Wednesday afternoon. He told police officers that he wanted to give his life purpose. Now, what I find interesting here is you hear this a lot from people on the left, not necessarily finding purpose in their life, but trying to find out their true identity that will give them the purpose they need to move forward. And that's why you see those suicide rates among the trans community or LGBT community so high, because they can't find that purpose in life because they're not able to find their true identity. So it's why you have biological males thinking that they're females or vice versa, or they can't even figure out if they're either or, so they're non-binary, somewhere in between or somewhere on the outside. Who the hell knows? So they're all trying to find purpose in life. This person, part of the leftist community. If this person is conservative Republican, it'd blow my freaking mind. But if this person is truly of the left, it wouldn't surprise me that this is going to give them purpose because they couldn't find the purpose in life wherever they were at in the state of California. So they're going to find it in other places by committing a heinous crime or wanting to commit a heinous crime by killing a Supreme Court justice. Well, this person, scumbag, purchased the gun and other items for the purpose of breaking into Kavanaugh's home and killing the justice and then himself. This person admitted to, in a second interview with the FBI, of his intent to kill Kavanaugh and himself, according to an affidavit in support of the criminal complaint. Now, this is a crazy thing. And I also want to kind of connect it to this whole thing from President Joe Biden, Democrats in general, the psychos on The View, is this person seems like they were able to obtain this firearm legally, which, look, I'm all for people able to obtain firearms legally. Now, I don't support, obviously, what this person was going to do. I'm a supporter of Brett Kavanaugh. I think how he was treated before was malicious and terrible by the Democrats, creating false stories, false lies, having people come out with false stories, false lies as well, basically trying to slander this great man. But I digress with that. I want to move into the connection here that I was going to make, is that this person obtained this firearm legally. If they were to commit this heinous crime, do you think you would see this person on The View and displayed everywhere on CNN and MSNBC about buying the firearm, committing a heinous crime? I don't think so, because it goes against their narrative. Because The View says, oh, we need to get rid of firearms. We need to have more extended background checks and all these things. They should have never had the firearm in the first place, because look at the crime they committed. As if the gun dealer or whoever sold them the firearm would have any clue that this person was going to commit a heinous crime in the first place. So this whole thing would have never got brought up. It probably still won't get brought up by The View or anybody else. They don't want to have that conversation again because it completely shatters their narrative, which is why they don't want to talk about it. Well, this person told detectives that he was upset about the leak of a recent Supreme Court draft decision regarding the right to an abortion, as well as the recent school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. So, hey, I'm all upset about it. So hell, I'm going to go commit a shooting and a murder myself. This is how crazy these people are. And remember, this is the purpose of my life. Bunch of psychos. And believe Kavanaugh would side with Second Amendment decisions that would loosen gun control laws, according to the affidavit. So again, I'm okay with The View going out and spewing their crap. I don't agree with it one bit. But look at what this person was upset about: the leak of the Supreme Court draft, okay, the recent school shootings, as well as Second Amendment decisions with loosening gun control laws, all of which have been sat there and pushed so much by the leftist media, so much by The View and all these people, that now you got people going out committing heinous crimes. I don't blame them for it. I think that'd be silly. This person clearly made the decision on their own, but I would say that at least in some part, they got this information from somewhere. I'm not saying it's came from The View. I'm not saying it's coming from CNN or MSNBC, but it's coming from somewhere because people are building fear and hysteria out of the media, and then people are watching that. And that fear and hysteria is now developed into other forms of people now trying to find purpose in their life by committing these heinous crimes. At approximately 1:05 a.m. Wednesday, 2 U.S. Marshals saw an individual, later identified as this nutso, dressed in black clothing and carrying a backpack and a suitcase. Almost seems like how Antifa probably dressed, wearing all black, but, there's no connection to the black shirts from World War II there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to be a subscriber to the Bald Brad Show, folks, so we can get all this information out. Get out of a taxi cab that had stopped in front of Kavanaugh's Montgomery County home. The individual looked at the 2 marshals standing outside their parked vehicle and turned to walk down the street, the affidavit said. Shortly after, Montgomery County Emergency Communication Center fielded a call from this person who identified himself and told the call taker he was having suicidal thoughts and had a firearm in his suitcase. This person also told the taker he came from California to kill a specific United States Supreme Court justice. Man, this person has problems. Again, at least there was a phone call made and this person realized they had some sort of problems, but these problems usually just don't all of a sudden arise. They've had problems before. And like I said, going back to the whole purpose of life things, seems like this person didn't have their ish together. Montgomery County Police Department officers were dispatched to a location near Kavanaugh's residence, where they encountered this person still on the phone with the emergency operator. He was taken into custody without incident, and a backpack and suitcase in his possession were seized. You have the affidavit here. I'll make sure I leave the link in the description below if you want to go ahead and read that yourself. But a black tactical vest rig and tactical knife, Glock 17 pistol, which is one of the predominantly one that is used by, I believe, law enforcement use a Glock 17 or a Glock 19, but it's one of the biggest handguns out there in the United States. So we should ban those two, right, according to The View. Let's get rid of the Glock 17 because this person was going to commit a heinous crime. We'll make sure we get rid of tactical knives because those seem scary too. And then a black tactical vest for just the sake because it says tactical in it. Let's get rid of all of that, as well as 2 magazines. We should get rid of that as well. There's pepper spray in here. We should get rid of that as well. Holy crap, a hammer and screwdriver. We definitely need to get rid of those as well because those are blunt objects. Those are also in statistics. I'm being facetious, folks, but this is the type of talking point to the left would go down, right? Oh, it's a Glock 17. It commits murders. All these things. Look at the velocity of the bullet. It's a 9mm. According to Joe Biden, a 9mm, which I believe a Glock 17 uses a 9mm, depending on which one you have. I'm not too fully knowledgeable on the Glock 17, but regardless, he said a 9mm round would blow your lung out of the body. But this is the guy that wants to have common sense gun reform. This is the guy that these psychos listen to. Crowbar, pistol light, duct tape, hiking boots with padding on the outside of the soles, and other items were found in the suitcase and backpack. So this guy was freaking stocked, locked, and loaded, ready to go. U.S. Marshals and the Montgomery County Police Department are handling the investigation. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland addressed the incident at a press conference previously planned to provide an update on the federal investigation in the Texas Uvalde elementary school shooting. The quote, "This kind of behavior is obviously behavior that will not be tolerated," Garland said. "Threats of violence and actual violence against the justices of court strike at heart of our democracy. We'll do everything we can to prevent them and hold people who do them accountable." What I find interesting, there's a clip out there that's been surfacing for a while of Chuck Schumer going out and basically doing this very same thing, almost in a roundabout way, making threats against the justices, saying that they're going to be paying for basically their things that they've done in the future. So if you haven't seen that, I'll try to find the clip and link it below or throw it into this video as well. Garland said that he accelerated the protection of all the justice residencies 24/7 and met with Marshal of the court last month. He said he also convened a meeting with the Marshal as well as the Deputy FBI Director, the U.S. Marshal Service, and with the Justice Department's own law enforcement prosecutors to ensure every data protection available. I want to see if Merrick Garland actually came out and said, hey, how about you don't protest in front of the Supreme Court justice, because it is in fact breaking the law. It's not something that you're allowed to do. We can't throw that in the mix. We can't tell these people to go home or anything of that nature. We're just going to sit there kind of say, hey, we don't condone this type of behavior. Well, no crap, man. A lot of people don't condone it, but you're going to sit there and kind of sidestep the whole thing of people going out there protesting, doing all sorts of crazy crap. But you're not going to, again, address that. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's just mind blowing, folks, that there's these people out here that
just allow this stuff to go on and don't want to like allow it to happen. You know what I mean? So here you have some people protesting at approximately 1:50 a.m. today. I teach mathematics, folks. Forgive me. So when I see numbers, automatically goes in my mind. Today, a man was arrested near Justice Brett Kavanaugh's residence. Yet Patricia McCabe, spokesperson of the Supreme Court, said in a statement to Fox News, the man was armed and made threats against Justice Brett Kavanaugh. He was transported to Montgomery County Police 2nd District. Here's a pro-choice advocate holds clothes hanger while passing the home of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. You know, but this is totally okay to the left to go out there and do this stuff in front of people's homes where their families live, their children and all those. Completely okay. Nothing wrong with it. Totally moral. Look, if the right did this to any of the Supreme Court justices, I wouldn't be okay with it. 100% would be on here doing a show going, what the hell are you guys doing? Stop doing it. In the same way that I condone what happened in January 6th. Don't think it was a good idea. Those people say they're conservative Republicans. No, you're not. That's not one of the values that we hold. You could say it till you're blue in the face, doesn't make you one. So all those things, don't agree with this type of behavior from the left or right. I don't care who the hell you are. The arrest came hours before the Supreme Court revealed Wednesday that it has not ruled in the case Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, prolonging the wait for its opinion, which is expected to overturn Roe v. Wade, the landmark 1973 ruling that guaranteed a woman's right to an abortion, which is a crazy decision as it is. And this kind of comes from Griswold v. Connecticut. And if you're not familiar with that case, I highly recommend you go and look at it. Basically, you had Griswold, which was an executive director of Planned Parenthood, basically worked with a doctor to prescribe, I think, contraceptives to women, which was against the law in the state of Connecticut. They appealed it. The state of Connecticut basically said, hey, we're not going to change our ruling on this. We think this is what it is. Griswold basically appealed to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court justices that were the majority of the opinion on this, that voted 7-2 for it, had to do some serious mental gymnastics to come to the idea that would ultimately create a precedent for Roe v. Wade. Like, the mental gymnastics they had to do on this was completely mind-boggling. I'll kind of give you a very short synopsis. They basically found that there are certain amendments there in the Bill of Rights, and the Bill of Rights themselves what's called an emanation. It basically casted a shadow. It was a source itself that created a shadow, that within these shadows were other rights that weren't documented in the United States Constitution itself. And that the 9th Amendment understands that there's certain rights that aren't within the Constitution, and that the justices could look to those newly found rights that are in the shadows of the Bill of Rights themselves and create certain judgments and rulings based on those shadows. In other words, they could sit there and do some finagling and sit there and rule on anything that they see fit or whatever is going against or for their narrative, whatever it may be. So that's what happened basically with Griswold v. Connecticut. And they're taking that precedence of what took place in the emanation, as well as the shadows that were created of finding these new right to privacy laws, and then found it in favor of Roe v. Wade as well. Truly mind-blowing. I highly recommend you go and do some light reading on this stuff, because it's crazy how they actually got to the conclusion of Roe v. Wade based on what Griswold v. Connecticut had put in place before that. I mean, the gymnastics, folks, it's almost hard to explain how they came to this stuff. Truly mind-blowing. But there you have it. You got people out there protesting Brett Kavanaugh's home and others based on a ruling that hasn't even come out yet, because they're trying to bully these people into voting a certain way, which is undemocratic and unrepublic. But that's not going to stop the left from going from states like California, Oregon, New York, wherever it may be, Washington, and then going to other states and trying to infiltrate those states with their ideology, whether that's voting in that state for leftist ideology, which is truly mind-blowing within itself, because they left that state originally, like California, Washington, New York, whatever it may be, to get out of the leftist hellhole that they created. But they're going to create another leftist hellhole in your home state of Texas, Tennessee, and Florida, and then go and possibly do heinous crimes in other states, like coming from California to Maryland to kill a United States Supreme Court justice. All these things, absolutely nuts here, folks. But make sure you leave me a comment down below what you think about all this. Again, YouTube really loves that engagement between us. Not a marital engagement, of course, but a viewer to bald Brad engagement. Little bit joking here. As always, folks, if you want to join us on the show, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Share this link with your friends and family all over social media. And folks, I will see you later here on The Bald Brad Show.